Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 213 of the JARCAST. I'm your host, Alex, joined as always by the Golden Freddy himself.
Yep, it's me,
James. And the bro with the mo, Jim.
The Mohawk.
No, I was shortening the word most. The bro with the mo.
The broast with the most.
I didn't even plan that one. That one just came to me. How do you feel about that on this here episode of the JARCAST?
It's good. It's good. I can't complain. Hi guys.
Before we go too deep into the episode, I'd like to shout out the Patreon and our supporters over there. Of course, the influx in Dibby tier patrons is a thing we're very happy with, and
big shout out to them.
We'll be reading and shouting them out during the halfway point of the cast.
And the people on Mort here as well.
Yeah. Last episode, because I'm still new to all this Patreon reading off stuff, out of the 4 tiers, I only had the Dibby one ticked and forgot to tick Mort, which is the one above it. So there was a Mort or 2 that was left out last week.
Big shout out
Morts.
to the Morts of the Patreon.
Are we legally allowed to use that?
We're not profiteering off of like the imagery, or does Madagascar own the name Mort? That's the question.
I guess we'll find out in the coming months.
They're going to sue us for like millions.
Yeah.
Bring it on, is what I say.
Don't. No.
We're forgetting, of course, that Mort means death.
Mortality.
No, like Spanish?
So yeah, of course it's not copyrighted by DreamWorks.
Copyrighted.
Copywritten.
Thank you.
Unless DreamWorks has literally copyrighted the idea of death, which might be possible after
Pixar
the
did
Boss
that.
Baby.
So.
You're right. Yeah.
Sorry, Mort.
I'm okay with it.
Okay with what?
Death.
Let's do some housekeeping then. Of course, last episode I revealed the spectacular Ruby Doo. This exciting new image I discovered, and the feedback's been kind of mixed on it, I have to say. Tom Health 66 Heath says, kind of sick, but it ain't no Sandy.
And I'm in full agreement with that. It ain't no Sandy.
Mammoth Led 5 says, has the same vibe as Sandy, but none of the soul. And that, honestly, that is what appeals to me about the image, the fact that it has those soulless fucking eyes.
Yeah, if you sort of take into account the time period that Ruby Doo was like discovered in and sort of vibed with us in, a time of a lot of despair, a lot of uncertainty. I think Ruby Doo exemplifies the times we find ourselves caught up in at the moment.
Yeah,
whereas Sandy is more of the previous,
go-getter, yeah.
The golden sort of
the
go-getter
standard,
age. Yeah.
Chung Skingy says it has no soul, but that makes it all the better, and I think I agree with them. Leave Him Alone even says hot take is better than Sandy.
No, that's not. No, I'm in disagreement with that hot take.
No, I disagree as well, but it's not because Ruby Doo is objectively worse. It's because Ruby Doo represents something a lot bleaker than what Sandy does, if that makes sense to you.
No, that does make complete sense.
As the Jarlings last episode who tuned in might remember, we said for this episode we were going to do an extra dark lighting, just so we've done every like option.
Every extreme.
Yeah.
So after this one, just say in the comments which one you think looks the best.
Say this one.
I think this one's too dark personally, but that's just how I feel right now.
It's quite dark, but it's really aesthetic, and it suits how we're recording right now, and it's night as fuck at the moment.
I think the previous episode's one was about right for my own taste.
I'm in agreement with that, but we're always up for feedback, and we want to know what is the best for the viewers.
And I want to know your guys' opinions on this, because Dabooz says, merge the Reddit and Twitter questions part. How do you feel about that? Because I don't know about that.
Yeah, I feel like because we don't always do the Twitter questions.
And when we do, it just tends to be like 4 or 5 really quick.
Yeah.
I would say not merge them, but do them. What would be merging them, wouldn't it?
Well, maybe what we could do is do the Twitter questions at the end of the first segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that as long as we have stuff to talk about in the first segment.
Right. Okay. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And also, the Madagascar video people seem to be enjoying. We got 2 actually, as good as they say videos out. The Halo one we just put out.
Yeah.
For those that are interested in that, don't need to spend like any time really talking about that on this episode. Then, as a result,
I wasn't there, but I have seen the trailer, and it's I think I'm in agreement with you guys and what your kind of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I suppose we should. Yeah. That's one thing that happened in the last week, I suppose, was this gaming Xbox stream. They're basically their E3 kind of equivalent. We've already got that Halo video out, but James, do you have any thoughts, just quickly?
It's just there's good premise. They, depending on what they're wanting at, on the next generation, it could be quite a pretty game. It looks the gameplay looks good. The guns, they look so generic. It needs just some more Halo spice. It needs a razzle dazzle to bring it back to the Halo we like. Mm-hmm. But this looks like this is a good start again for Halo. If they do it right, they could bring it back to some of its former glory. So let's just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, what about Fable? Anyone care about that? Playground Games making Fable, so the guys who make Forza Horizon are making a Fable game now, which is weird, but
yeah, I mentioned it's how many times are they going to try and reboot Fable? Because it's like that Microsoft.
I've never played one, so
it's that Microsoft exclusive they don't want to let die for really strange reasons. Because it's always been quite.
It adds a pillar that makes them seem a bit more diverse. Comedic fantasy setting is a bit something different.
I played Fable 2 and 3, and Fable 1 I enjoyed quite a bit because back then it was like this really arcadey RPG, and it was really fun at a really basic level.
And silly sense of humour and all that.
And then they added Fable 3, which was just Christ. I left that game on at night to grind currency. It was not good. But if it looks nice and it's quite fun to play, then it could be a fun game.
Forza Motorsport. They dropped the numbers, so I guess now it's gonna be a platform or something. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
So what is this Forza?
I'm saying I don't know. I just watched the trailer. It looked pretty.
It's probably going to be... It's weird with Forza because the Horizon games are way more popular than the mainstream motorsport Forzas,
right.
But the motorsport Forzas are greatly overshadowed by just Gran Turismo being a better game.
Is it though? I thought Forza's way more relevant in terms of the car game.
Yes,
war.
But the main thing about racing games is it's competitive online stuff. And Gran Turismo does that so much better. So for an entry level, it's you play Forza Horizon, but if you want actual racing stuff, you play Gran Turismo. But
yeah, I wouldn't know.
I've kind of, having put hundreds of hours into Forza, I've just kind of dropped it. I can't keep up with it anymore. But
one of the more interesting reveals was that what are they called? The guys who made fucking Outer Worlds or whatever. What are they called? Obsidian.
They've got a new first-person RPG, isn't it?
They showed 2 things off, but the more important one was called Avowed, which is basically just them making Skyrim. Yeah, now they've made their own Fallout game. Now they can make a Skyrim game.
The world of that is an already established thing in Pillars of Eternity, which is one of their IPs that is actually quite loved. It's quite popular, I believe. So they've already got a world for it, and
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they've got it's like a what's that game you played? Divinity. It's like that kind of style of Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to play it because I like Obsidian, but some of the major players from old Obsidian aren't there, so it's it could go either way.
And the final 2 things of note was just that Destiny 2 is coming to Game Pass, and there's a Warhammer game that kind of looks like Left 4 Dead 2, which looks kind of interesting.
Wasn't Vermintide already?
It was Warhammer Dark Tide, this new one.
Yeah, that seems like a sequel to it.
Right. Okay.
Because Vermintide is actually
it's
I
meant to
heard
be really
Vermintide's good. Yeah.
It's like just It's just Rat Left 4 Dead, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Practically.
I mean, which
I
I'm
just
down
don't know
for 'cause I
anything
hate
about
rats.
Warhammer. Is really so.
Yeah, I
God.
don't either.
You don't say Billy that. Fuck. She'll lose
Billy
it.
hates rats.
Yeah, she'll lose it that game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it wasn't like the most exciting showcase. Like I was on my phone most of the time.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that Sprint was in Halo, I just was kind of like, whatever.
Is that the first thing they showed? Because I missed
Yeah,
it.
it was straight into Halo, and yeah.
Right.
I
I thought the PlayStation one was better from the announcement side of things.
probably.
Do you think? I know this is an old question of console wars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Sony is in a better place or Microsoft? Because you've got to consider with Microsoft, they've
branched off now. They're completely different business models.
Mhm.
Like then they're basically
Subscription.
doing completely different things.
pure
Yeah.
subscription with multi-platform, and then just old-fashioned basically.
Yeah. It makes it. It doesn't make it like seem like you need to get a new Xbox though,
No.
As
because everyone can
a
just play it on
But
PC.
I think because of Game Pass, like that seems it's out of all these subscription things, like there's Google Stadia and shit.
Mhm.
I think Microsoft is way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
that side
because
of things.
every single game they showed at that showcase
Is
was on
exactly-
Game
Yeah,
Pass, so it's
yeah.
like
yeah,
you can't
and
even
I
really
think-
complain.
Yeah, I think in terms of like people comparing Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft, they don't need to sell as many consoles if they have money
It's a different
constantly
fight.
coming in from
Mm.
people
Yeah,
every month. I mean,
different
they've already
landscape.
got me like before this,
Mm-hmm.
so they've basically just stayed winning.
As someone who's back in the day, I've kind of been an Xbox person, and it's going to PC where it's like I don't need an Xbox because all of the
Yeah.
games I can just play on my kind of shit PC, but I've always got access
Yeah.
to them. So it's now I'm just going to buy PlayStation for when I want to do the other games.
Yeah.
But
Actually, my takeaway from the showcase is I might not buy either now.
yeah,
I don't think either are actually
But-
that appealing to me.
hasn't Sony also done the PC streaming thing as well with their like PlayStation Now on PC, so you can also play PlayStation games on PC.
Don't you
It's-
have to stream it though, right?
It's streaming, and you have to have a PlayStation controller, which is a bit strange, but you can kind of do both now on PC.
Oh, that's lame. You see, if I could play a bunch of the Sony exclusives on an Xbox controller, it would
Yeah.
automatically make them better games.
on PC.
Yeah, but it's nice to say that now it doesn't matter as much, right? No matter what you get, you can enjoy everything almost. Because if you get
Yeah,
a PC, you can kind of
I like
enjoy.
look on Twitter and look at some of the replies to some of the fanboy gamer shit that's going on. I'm like, man, can't believe people are still doing this with them.
Mhm.
They're like making these gifs of like the CEOs of each company like fighting each other and shit, and it's like fuck. Nothing changes. Like this is the exact same thing
It's-
every generation.
It's I'm kind of viewing this because I'm really surface level with gaming because it's not like my I like cars, so that's like my main thing, and as a surface level kind of just gamer, it's the best at the moment because I just get everything. It's like so easy, especially with like Microsoft. I pay £10 a month or so I can get every game I could want. It's just so easy now. It's like gaming's never been in a better place, to be honest. I know that could be a controversial take with like some of the drama going on.
Honestly,
in games at the moment.
I think with the whole Battle Pass thing as well, that's probably my favourite monetary system.
Out of
games
all
have
of the
had for the
trends,
past,
it's
10
definitely
years.
the preferable one.
Yeah, gotcha.
No, it really has because it's just like it's actually kept me playing games I like more because
Yeah.
it's just like I can do this in it and I can do that.
It's better than a season pass. It's better than like loot boxes.
Yeah. And no, but the thing I've got to always give is if you put in a little bit of money, you can get like constant content because it's giving you money. Like
Yeah, they're built around normally like you pay once, and then as long as you're playing the whole season each time, then you've just
like COD, we've talked to death about it, but I put £10 in. I've got 4 seasons from that £10 because I like it because I play
like
it.
I bought gold once in Red Dead Online, and that gave me the
Yeah, the idea being though that if you're playing constantly throughout all these seasons because you're addicted, then you're more likely gonna buy cosmetic shit, which you have.
Yeah. I've done that, but
roughly how much money have you put into COD, do you think? Estimate.
I bought the first season. Then at the third season I spent that free money on a pack. So then I had to put another £10 in. So really I've put about £25 extra in. But I got the game at half price anyway, so I've paid full price for the game. And I've put 16 days into the game. And as you know, I've got other things going on in my life, I'm okay with that because I don't have time to jump between games. So for me, I've paid a full game, but I've got almost a month of content out of it. So like, in that way, when you're like really surface level with games and you're not super into them, it's such a good like way to play games because you're constantly getting content because of updates and everything. It's just so easy now to be like a surface kind of level kind of gamer. It's never been better. Yeah.
The thing is, none of these services has ever really suited the way I like to play stuff.
Yeah, same.
It's like that's like the contrast in us as the way we play games.
Yeah, because you tend to get hooked on like one thing, whereas I'm constantly searching for something fresh.
And you much prefer story games and like a single player experience.
I like both, but I mean, I just find I get to a point and I'm like, okay, there isn't really anything this can offer me. So I want to experience something different.
Well, I'm just gameplay loop. I like that constant kind of grind to it. And if I don't get that, I can't play the game. Literally.
Okay, let's round off this first half then by heading over to Twitter. Speedman asks, I've noticed that Alex has been playing Sekiro. Thoughts? Yes, awesome. Because I started playing it on Xbox like a while ago, but gave up because it just doesn't feel nearly as good as it does on PC. So in the latest Steam sale, I picked it up. Been playing it. How far would you say I am, Jim? Roughly, percentage-wise?
You're definitely over halfway. It's hard to say, because it's the sort of thing where you just take it at your own pace.
Yeah.
You could easily play the game the same amount as you've already played it before you finish it, you know?
Yeah. I've played it a lot.
Having constantly being around, like, you guys talking about it and seeing it on PC, you know, I instantly love the the setting, much like Ghost of Tsushima as well. But it's just like, having played Dark Souls and not liked it, I think it's the one I'd actually get into quite a bit. So I'm like kind of wanting to give it a little bit of a
it's really
chance.
accessible.
Yeah.
And the gameplay loop's really like obvious and clear, and you can like stealth or...
it's their most refined game, for sure.
Seeing it from like an outside view, I really like the fact that there's not like, oh, you should, there's like 10 different play styles. It's just like you've got to perfect the one that the game.
Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of games for me, where like you can do a million things all right, but they're never going to be as good as when a game like has a way for you to play. Like take Far Cry for example. Like it never feels as good as like a Halo game. How tight that game is designed in terms of being like a bombastic shooter, but then it's never as good as Splinter Cell for stealth. It's in that awkward in between.
Yeah.
Because it's doing both things, but neither of them are perfect. Sekiro is just like one Dark Souls play style, refined.
Yeah, I definitely recommend
it. It's like the whole thing of a refined experience is better than an imbalanced one.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you want.
At Fluton says, Alex mentioned rewatching Community in a few earlier Corncasts, and I also watched it and thought the first 3 seasons are great and the rest range from pretty good to really bad. What do you think of the show? I'm currently on the beginning of season 5, and season 4 definitely is weaker. And it's noticeably like more funny as soon as it gets to season 5 again, and Dan Harmon's back. But yeah, it actually starts getting bad. I'd actually say before season 4 a little bit.
I've watched like a season and a half now, and to me, season 2 is already worse than season 1. must be
I
like-
think season 2 is really good. I think season 2 might be my favorite.
I don't know
season.
what it is, but I mean,
No, it definitely has a weaker beginning, but by the end,
right?
it's
I'm like halfway through it. I think.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
even less.
I like season 2, and 3 is really good too. But yeah, it's not like the best sitcom or anything. It's just got some good things in it. It definitely does get grinding and annoying though in season 4,
Right.
where they just don't. They're just not as good at writing it, basically. So. At Rastarat says, around episode 100 of the JARCAST, you guys said that being hit in the balls is about as painful as period cramps. I personally think that being hit in the balls doesn't actually hurt, but just makes you feel really sick and uncomfortable. Thoughts?
It does hurt.
I know what he means though. It's not a classic
it's
pain.
Not, yeah.
Because you don't feel it in the area that it's kind of impacted.
You feel winded.
kind of feel it in your like
it's like a
stomach
winded.
area and stuff.
No, I'd say initially you feel it where the impact is, and then it like travels. It like reverberates throughout your entire body.
It's like not where the pain is though, you know? Like if you have a cut on your arm, it's the cut that's hurting. When you're kicked in the balls, it like kind of goes through you.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It
It's
goes through your
horrifying.
whole body, and that is painful. So it is pain.
Mm.
You know.
I've hurt myself a lot. I wouldn't say it's painful. It's just the winding
Well,
that's
you've
just
hurt
like,
your balls a lot.
No, I've just hurt like myself a lot. Just some cuts and stuff, and it's,
Oh, you mean you've had many injuries?
I'm not hurting myself a lot. I mean, I've had lots of injuries, and it's just like I don't consider that like on that same level. It's just like you just feel winded and just a bit uncomfortable. But
Okay. At Chessie FC86 says, James, talk about your excitement for the new Taylor Swift album.
I will listen to it. I will probably like
You
it.
haven't listened to it yet.
Not yet, but I probably will. Because I listened to the last Taylor Swift album and I kind of like that.
Maria, Am I Drunk says, thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima, if any of you have played it.
It's
I'm the
really
only one that's
pretty.
played it, right?
Jim's the only one that's played it. I've watched you play it a little
Yeah.
bit. We both did.
It's really, really pretty. And I
Yeah, it
love
looks-
the
it looks
setting.
cool.
Yeah, there's nothing. The start of the game isn't very good. The whole sort of intro bit, it doesn't feel particularly modern in how long it takes to get going.
It seems like a formula that's been like refined, you know, and like polished
Yeah.
to a T.
But it's just like the first real mission is like a stealth thing where if you get spotted, you immediately fail, and that stuff to me was quite boring. Like I'm fine with a slower intro, but yeah, it just sucked, that beginning bit.
Okay.
But then I'd say 5 hours into the game, it really grabbed me.
What, story-wise or combat-wise?
Everything like works together in this thing, and I think if you're gonna play the game, you should play it in a way where it's challenging for you. Because
like hard mode or something.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, because the whole like point of the game is that like the conflict of your character is that he wants to be a noble samurai from like the
Mm-hmm.
because his family will think he's lame if he doesn't act that way. But the like threat in the game being the Mongols, they're like such a big threat that the only way you can really deal with this is through sneaky tactics and being a bit of a scumbag.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think when the game actually really challenges you and makes you think like, man, this would just be so much easier if I snuck around just gutting.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel guilty for doing it because of the way the story works.
Oh,
It's really good, yeah. And the combat is just...
Having seen it, I appreciate where they've put effort. It's quite very visible that they've made it as like kind of true to like source material, like old school like samurai stuff as possible. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's heavily
just,
inspired by that old media.
yeah. I've always had a soft spot for that stuff. So seeing it in like a modern day kind of really good game is I appreciate that. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's probably my favourite PS4 exclusive.
Really?
Like personally for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than Spider-Man and God of War?
It's... my favorite before this, honestly, was probably Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, I'm just talking about not the best one, but what I want.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Because I think Spider-Man has better combat than God of War, and I think Tsushima has better combat than both of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it, and it's way better than The Last of Us 2.
Damn, throwing shade.
It's not even throwing shakes.
I think that's actually kind of just the consensus, to be honest. That
it just annoys
more
me
broadly
that
appealing.
They were released so close together. I think they didn't really give Tsushima much of a chance, to be honest.
Although I don't think it's hurting it. It's doing pretty damn well.
I'm sure it's doing really well, but still, it's just taken a bunch of the limelight away from it, I think.
Yeah. Maybe they weren't as confident. They had their confidence in the wrong one.
But I think, especially if they do a sequel, this could be like a heavy-hitting franchise. Because it's totally unique as well. You know, what else is in that setting other than Sekiro? And that is not an accessible game.
It's not accessible and it's all like monstery.
Yeah.
Which is what I like about it, but...
No games that are super like gameplay focused like that. Like Dynasty Warriors is just kind
of... What about Neo?
Oh, that's a Souls game, is really.
There's a Souls clone thing there.
Yeah. The thing is that the way that game looks just does not appeal to me. I think they are ugly games, both of them.
Yeah.
I've heard they're really good, but I mean the fact that they are exclusive to the PlayStation makes me less likely to play it.
Right. Let's end on this one then. From a chair over there who says, "Who has worse farts, James or Argy?"
James.
Yeah, it's obvious, James. And Argy's got some stinky fucking farts. That
really
pains me to say.
Yeah,
it does. It's immediate. But but Argy does it more often, so that's why I say he's bad.
He's actually been pretty good lately.
Yeah. Also, I think that makes him less worse because you sort of get used to him. Whereas you, when you drop a goddamn nuke on...
It's the potency. Argy's farts, I'd say, are 60%. James's, they're like 80%, like just purity. I don't know what you're...
Yeah.
What's going on with your bowels?
It fills a room. It's like mustard gas.
Because at the moment, my body's readjusting to a much better diet. So it's like it's cleansing all the shit from like 20 years of bollocks out. So it's just... They fucking stink. I'm not going to deny, but... Hey, if I had shreddies, we wouldn't have this problem. And before we go to second, normally we do like a, what we've been watching and shit, but recently I've been listening to a lot of Tame Impala.
Holy.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, I've always...
Who's going to be listening to Mac DeMarco next?
I have listened to some of him as well, but I listened to The Slow Wash. Yes, some of that album is just actually incredible. Like, I fucking love it at the moment. Like, I'll go on a walk with Gaius. It's just like, I'm fucking feeling
I think every one of his albums is good. So.
And only a few days ago, it's just, I shuffled onto one of, is it Currents, that album? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, instantly I was just like, holy fuck, this is really good. Yeah, and I've been sleeping on Tame Impala.
Yeah, Currents is memed in that way that albums that when they get to that level of popularity, but it's like,
it's
like
good, man. Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
It's like you're really going to shit on that because it's good? Like, what is your justification?
So I fucking hate those, like, starter pack memes and all that shit.
Yeah.
So
that's what you always said when I said, oh, lame Impala. You always said
because it's just like, so it's just a bunch of people that hate the shit that's popular and they just, like, put it into an image and then they're like, I guess that makes it funny.
It's not. But, I'm actually really enjoying it, so, yeah. If anyone's got any recommendations, just shoot at me and I'll listen.
In a speaker?
In a speaker?
Oh, yeah, and Future Islands as well I've been listening to as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What have you been listening to?
Because that new single, which I've re-listened to.
What's it called, Jim? The latest single?
For Sure?
For Sure by Future Islands.
I've listened to that and then some of the other albums, but just like, really just, I'm really digging that type of music at the moment while working. It's just so good.
And Gorillaz dropped a new song, Pacman.
Haven't heard that yet.
Really good.
Yeah, I've been listening to it a fair amount now.
Yeah.
It's really good, man.
Like every time
this project's been just
as good.
spitting out bangers. There's only one I haven't really cared about, and it was the one before this one that we didn't really talk about.
The one before
didn't it have a bunch of like grime rap in it? Was that one?
One was a grime one. There was another one that I can't even remember at all.
Yeah, one was like not a song machine. Yeah, whatever. We're back after these messages. A moth just flew past me.
Howdy, partner. Me Argy. Me have shirts for sale. Check the description below.
Huge shout outs to the patrons over at Patreon. We're talking about Ben, Fartbag, Jessica Rose, Andrew Bailey, Lily, George Parker, Oscarman97, Geraint, Fiddle, DreamAwful2142, Michael G2, Mayo, Edward Walker, Tyron, Nwachukwu, Finn Kane,
Ethan, Heiger, Zach Dawes, Doiser, Justin Valesna, Jack White Fan, Adam Lismore, Esteban Montez, Ben Hughes, Lewis Horsburgh, Ferdia Pielmin, Way Dahl, Alberto Gomez, Sam C, Kirsten Armstrong, Tom Buse,
Juan Hernandez, Jam, Benjamin Wilson, Beeberly. Where did I get the hardest one? Deverell Strad, Logie Bear, Kane with a Todger, Connie Reed, Gremblow, Ollie Miles, Abby Clifford, Dibbledob, Mort, Agiron 3, and Cassia fucking Manigan. Thank you.
Yeah, big shout out. We absolutely adore you. Big thanks.
Welcome to the second half of the JARCAST, where we answer questions from the Jarlings on our subreddit. Head over to the suggestion thread over there and ask us whatever you like, to be honest. Whatever you like. Jive42069 is going to start us off with a quickfire round for James only. Since he has so much trouble with coming up with answers on the spot, only 10 seconds are allowed per answer.
Should I get like a stopwatch out?
I feel like 10 seconds is low enough where I can just count it on my fingers, to be honest.
No, I've got the stopwatch.
Is this...
You have to answer quickly, James, alright? This is the whole point. No waffle. You have to just get to the point of the question and just answer it, alright?
Oh, fuck.
Number 1. Would you accept a never-ending bottle of whiskey if it meant prawns and bread no longer existed?
Nope.
McFarlane or Rogan, which is the more tolerable Seth?
McFarlane.
Really? That
Yes.
shocks me. 10 out of 10 level diarrhea or 7 out of 10 level constipation?
Constipation.
Justify your ultra-conservative views.
I don't have them.
Which Beltman do you suspect has the better knob?
5, 4, 3.
Jamie.
AK or AR?
AK every single day of the week.
Christmas
Don't even
Tank or Christmas Spitfire?
ask. Christmas Spitfire.
Have to look after 5 Gaiuses or 1 Argy?
5 Gaiuses. Because then it's like a herd you can fucking push like
Damn.
at a field. It'd be beast.
So it was only one that there was delay on, and it was a
Yeah, and it was a
PP
7-second
related one.
delay, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'd say you did a good job there, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he did.
God, no, actually just thinking about Gaius a second. He's been a bit of a knob recently. He's just absolutely psycho. He's the
Yeah, I
weirdest...
prefer 1 argue over 5 Gaiuses. I don't think I could look after 5 Gaiuses.
Maybe if I was on a farm with a bunch of
Yeah.
sheep, I'd be alright.
Well, my mindset for that was on a walk. Because they're such, like... I said this, I think, the other day. They are the most wild dog you can buy, because it's either they're on a walk and they're, like, so, like, focused, or they don't want to be near anyone. They're so, like, wild in nature, where if I was on a walk, it'd be easy. Because it's like, Gaius, he just excels. He just loves that high energy. He needs winning.
It's
So when I
collies,
won,
man.
he loves it.
It's just collies. They're just so intelligent.
Yeah, he chases. It's like when I let him off the lead, he just sprints off, charges back, bites the lead because and growls at me because he's so excited. So having 5 of them would be so easy because they just do their own thing. And you guys have seen it. It's like if I say a word, the call is instant.
Yeah, and all you need is like one ball.
Yeah.
So much energy.
Yeah.
It's actually
So it's
great.
like I can control him like nothing else. Like there was times when there was like a rat and I saw it and I was like, no, and he didn't do it. He didn't go for it at
Oh
all.
really?
This is the same
How
dog.
many rats has he caught before?
A lot.
Really?
He uses them as tennis balls because he's just a psycho. But yeah,
Wow.
on a walk, like I have complete control over him and he knows it. And it's just like if he walks, he'll always look back for me. So he needs that constant kind of. So like, but Argy, it's just like nah, I ain't dealing with him. But then if Iris was in a house, then no, don't want him. Don't know. I'll have anything other than him. He's just chaotic.
Sponge Boy Ahoy says, Alex, you naughty boy. You made a deal with James during a rock, paper, scissors game that you could upload a new I Build Everything video by the next JARCAST. It's been 2 weeks since that deal was made, and yet you've failed to deliver. James will now get to choose what punishment is necessary for Alex, as well as getting full control over the Jar Media Twitter account.
As if I didn't.
I never agreed to those terms, by the way, but what do you want my punishment to be?
Take
you
your time
dirty
with
boy.
it and just enjoy the process.
I have been
That's not a punishment.
yeah. I have been thinking about it. Like, it's been on my mind, but just in the hierarchy, I just never got around to it. You know?
In the time it's taken you to not make a video, I've created a car channel.
Yeah, but in that time, I also edited Jarvids and did other stuff.
Junior.
Zing.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, just it'd be nice to see a new.
In that time, you were doing absolutely
Actually, I did
nothing.
make a significant Lego purchase that might be the first major piece of Lego I bought this year. I haven't bought Lego. I haven't bought any Lego for ages.
Oh, wait, can I just inject my Lego info?
Please.
I saw a set that I was like, man, if I could afford that, I would totally get it.
Really? What was it?
A grand piano.
Oh yeah. That's just came out.
looks
Just been revealed. Sorry.
awesome.
The Grand Piano. Yeah. Yeah. The
Looks
ideas
so
line
cool.
is one of the best.
Yeah.
The best ones I've
Does
got.
it like you can like press the keys and stuff?
I don't know off the top of my head. I only saw like.
I mean, like it doesn't have to make sound, but it looks like you can press the key and like all the bits in the piano move.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah,
looks
the ideas
amazing.
line is genuinely really good.
Actually,
It looks so cool.
on the subject of like building things, I've been looking at like Gundam statues because it's
I was
like
gonna say I've been looking at guns.
because obviously you've got the Spitfire and it's like, you know, when I move out I want to actually do that stuff because it's a good like time waster. And I found out that the company made them. They made the metal from the franchise, the sci-fi metal in real life. So the whole set's made out of titanium. And guess how much the fucking set is for a little fucking figure?
200 quid.
£2,000.
What?
Yep, and they all sold out instantly. But it's like this really dark, like metallic grey. It looks so good, but it's
I
like
bet it does look pretty cool.
yeah, and it's like that's sick. Like they went to the effort of making the artificial thing like sci-fi metal to in real life. It's like really cool, but $2,000 for fuck
Yeah, man.
like that shit.
So there's collectibles.
Like no,
Just-
like actually looking into like the most successful like IPs franchises. Gundam's it's like one of the top 10s because it's just the models. Like it's like the 16th in the world just because the models are so expensive and great.
But I was
crazy.
When around Jim's birthday, I was looking at some like Sekiro models and stuff. They're like so expensive. They're like crazy expensive. Yeah, but,
Yeah,
but
I
they
saw
look
this,
but they look so detailed though.
The boss you're on at the moment, it wears like a mask, the monk. There's a content creator I watched who went to like a live thingy and got to try out the game. Like one of the first people to try out the game. And everyone that went there got given one of the masks.
Wow,
And like it looks so cool.
that must be so valuable.
But it would be so expensive to buy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
It's like an authentic Japanese.
that's like
mark,
thousands
dude.
on
Yeah.
eBay.
It's
deal.
like that stuff's really cool. And it's like when I move out and I can like get a game somewhere with my PC and whatnot. I just want to have like a really expensive, cool kind of game thing that just is like a centerpiece on like display. 'Cause it's just like really nice.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moonman lives in a house. Says, do you still argue about curry behind the scenes of every episode? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, just
It's
before
what I
recording
dread
this
most every
episode-
week is
It's no.
what are we going to eat before we record the JARCAST?
No, it's not
question.
even like a meme. It's like food is like a really big thing before we film. It's just like, even today, we're just like,
Yeah,
we can't.
we couldn't film until we had something ready. Like, we
Yeah.
didn't necessarily have to eat it, but it had to be
There
ready.
needed to be food available, yeah.
And it's like, if we can't decide, it creates like chaotic cast, because we haven't eaten and we've spent like hours discussing food.
Yeah.
We never.
Yeah,
Especially
feel
when
free
we
to
record
disagree.
late, like this episode.
Yeah.
It's like 12:30 right now.
Is it really?
Yeah. And we
Jesus.
ain't done.
But it's just
Not yet.
is
Feel free to
Jars-
disagree, but I feel as though my input is quite vital when it comes to the
No.
food ordering.
we met up like a couple of days ago to record. And we spent so long just like doing nothing because Jim didn't do anything, so we just didn't do
Because
anything.
if I'm the one like playing the video game in the living room, food does not get ordered. Like, I'm not saying
No, nothing gets
I'm
done.
not saying I'm required to like organize the pod. It's just food.
It's groupthink. We have to like groupthink you.
No, it's not even that. Like, because the likelihood is when we order food, I'm going to eat 2/3 of it. My input is required.
No,
the most
it's
in the
just
food
like
regard.
you have the assertiveness to get it done, while me and Alex just kind of like, no, we just don't. So we just do nothing, and you're just like, fucking do it.
I wouldn't call any of us assertive though.
No, it's the wrong word, but it's like you're the most out of all of us, so that's why you're like get organised. But then
And
sometimes,
genuinely, like, a lot of the time I don't know what I want.
I've been like
yeah,
that.
no, that's always. We need to start just like having a week rota thing where one day I have to choose, the next week you have to choose, the next.
And that
week.
would speed it up considerably. But
Yeah,
there might be
because
some complaints.
That's the thing that pisses me off every time, where it's like I chose the last 4 meals we had, and I'm like, Alex, what do you want? And
And
it's up to you today. What do
Alex-
you want? And
no,
Alex
The
is
answer's
like,
just going to be Five Guys, though, if you ask me.
no, but
No.
you'll always say, I don't mind. It's
No,
up to you
literally
guys.
every
and then,
time.
and then I'll ask James, and it'll be the same fucking answer. So then, like,
You've got to choose every single meal, because I'm like, oh, I don't know. But then it's like you'll say something, and I gave the pretense that I don't mind, and I'm just like, don't want that.
yeah, that's
Every time.
yeah, Alex is truly easy when it comes to food.
Me,
Like you're pretty much fine with anything, but when it's James, it's like, ugh.
I don't
It's
like
not
melted
bland
cheese,
enough.
but I love pizza.
like,
So it's just,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm so like difficult, but now I'm trying to be easier. with
Yeah,
it.
you got to open
Now
your.
you're starting to like spice a bit.
Yeah, you got to broaden
I'm
your
changing.
horizons.
You know, it's a year of change.
Oda Das has an interesting story/opinion for us. People have brought up the stories of propranolol, which I keep mentioning recently, and just wanted to say that I've dealt with this issue before with being put on olanzapine, an antipsychotic meant for schizophrenia, even though it was for my anxiety and depression. And I definitely
Jesus.
agree that you should research your own medicine, but I also believe that doctors should always be conversed with before any choices are made, especially if you can get a different doctor's opinion. Remember that a doctor prescribes medication with the belief that the benefits will be greater than the negatives, and trust me, I've had the negatives before. Feet turning blue from an ADHD medication I was prescribed.
Oh, God.
Scary ass shit and made me paranoid as fuck. I just want to say this as to not give the impression of fuck doctors, Google is better, as that is just stupid. Do your own research and question your doctor, but don't ignore him, and also don't follow his or her opinions blindly.
No,
Yeah, that's something that's I think is really tricky because
Yeah.
when you're in front of a doctor, it's like they're the
master.
crucible of information when
Yeah.
it comes to things regarding health. Like, how am I supposed to? A lot of the time, I don't even know what to ask. I just listen to what they have to say, and
Yeah.
they pat me
Yeah.
on the tushy as I leave.
Yeah, it's
That's
that
it.
balance of obviously understanding that a doctor knows more about, the way a body functions than you do, unless you've
Yeah.
studied it. They definitely have a broader knowledge and a educated perspective they're coming from, but at the same
For
time,
sure.
they are humans that commit mistakes.
I
And
know.
also, like, WebMDing everything that's never done anyone any favors.
I would say, just in general, it's not, you never like self-diagnose or choose what you should do. You should obviously, professionals, their opinion does matter, but it's like, you should always just be knowledgeable on things. Like, if you get precise stuff, just search it up, try and understand what's...
Yeah, I think the best point is the multiple doctor thing. But like,
Yeah.
if a doctor says something and you research it and you feel weird about it, maybe getting another doctor's opinion is the best next step.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's not always the easiest.
No.
Like
Yeah, it's
finding,
for us in the UK at the moment. I haven't been to the GP in God knows how
I haven't
fucking
either.
long.
I've been meaning to go for a while, but obviously COVID's like really.
Yeah, I mean, waiting times are bad enough. When you've got
Yeah.
a full-time job, you've got to find this slot where you can get one appointment, and then if you need to get that checked by another doctor, you've got to find another slot in your...
Yeah, and if it's not something urgent, you're so low. on the
Yeah, yeah,
waiting
yeah.
list.
Yeah, it's
And that's all the Conservatives' fault, so...
Maddest Max, question for the passionate napper himself. Are you still napping at lunch when working from home?
no, actually, I'm gonna dox myself. Oops. With work stress and being at home, it's like if the moment I start noticing that I'm getting stressed, I just sleep. Even if it's 10 o'clock, if it's 2 o'clock, if it's 4 o'clock, I will just go to bed.
How long do you sleep for, though?
At a nap is about hour and a half.
Okay.
It's just a sleep. I feel shit after, but that's just because I've slept. But it's the only way I deal with bad stress, and I always make up the hours, so I work till like 7 or something, just to make sure I'm doing the full hours. But it helps just managing things, because it's like just being overwhelmed is bad. So just going in with a clear head, even at home, it's nice, and it's helped. So
Awesome.
sort of stuff doing, and some like the Wok and shit, Ronaldo. It's like they all nap constantly because it's actually unbelievably like healthy for you. You just have constant naps. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, cats are healthy, right?
Yeah.
They're always sleeping.
I like naps. I just like sleeping.
Yeah, I can't nap.
Yeah, I can't nap either. Once I'm up, it's just done. Even if I wake up at like 6, like that's it.
My
I'm
issue is
up.
that I don't tend to get up. You know? Like, I will sleep for fucking 12 hours. And they say most people spend a third of their life asleep.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure by the time I die, I will have spent half of my life asleep.
See, I'm the difference. As soon as my body clock's up at 6 and that's it. I'm up. Boom. I ain't falling
But you
back.
nap.
Yeah, but then but I also don't sleep at night. Like last night, I barely slept, but I then napped all day at various times. So it's like my sleep at night is worse, but then I make up for it throughout the day by napping. So it kind of equals out.
Yeah. No, but I find even if because apparently the ideal amount of sleep is like 8 hours.
Yeah.
If I get 8 hours in a night, it doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter how much time I sleep for. What matters is the time I wake up.
Yeah. You ever looked into this like sleep cycle thing and all that kind of
It just doesn't apply to me.
There's so many different variables for things that affect sleep too.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll wake up and it'll be like 6 a.m. and I'll feel as though I could just get up and go through my day and be fine. But because it's 6 a.m, I'll go back to sleep and then just be out for the count and then wake up at a more ordinary time and feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to sort that out.
That's because you got into a part of the sleep cycle where you can't get up during that time because you feel shit.
But why would I wake up at that point in the sleep cycle
Because
and then just be awake? Like, well, it doesn't
Your
make
brain
sense
must have just
because, like,
woken
even in the hours I work, there's no consistency.
Mm.
None of it makes sense.
Yeah, it might just be worth looking into, maybe.
It's pure chaos. I just live chaos endlessly.
Charlie is a dweeb has one for us. How's it going, Goobers? So I'm sure most Jarlings will agree that the normal episode may just be the greatest episode of the JARCAST ever.
Mm-hmm.
The episode encapsulates my entire sense of humour, and I've made it a pact to listen to it every Christmas. What I've wanted to ask is this. Would you consider making another episode like the normal episode again? Not exactly a sequel, but an episode that, much like the normal episode, tries to succeed in being a certain way. For example, the abnormal episode or the family-friendly episode that consists of only family-friendly behaviour and humour. I think the whole concept of an episode being an experiment is genius and a concept that could be explored even further, IMO. No matter what you do, though, it will most likely be hilarious. Thanks.
There's a curse with Jar. we can never follow anything up ever. Jar has to be spontaneous.
Aren't we on like an episode?
No, I don't mean it like that. No, I mean like
You mean jokes?
like sequels to things. Quick and Movement 2. Dubstep Parkour 2.
That wasn't Jar. We've done countless As Good As They Say
but that's really focused, so that works. I'm talking like spontaneous. We did this thing and it worked out great and it's funny. We can't follow that up if we try. It's got to just happen naturally, is what I'm trying to say. Like, we can't ever make a sequel to Normal, but we can make something.
That's the thing. Like, before
I would argue that before the Normal episode, there were countless episodes with gimmicks.
Yeah, but I mean, like, before we didn't sit down and discuss like what gimmick can we do to really to really make this one memorable. It was just like
that's the spontaneous nature. It just happens. We're just like, this would be fucking funny. Let's do it.
Normally I come up with the idea and then I'm like, just randomly spring it on you guys and you just play along.
Yeah,
you're the coke head. You're just like the coke head is just like this, boom.
My personal favourite one is the lying on the floor episode. I don't know what number
I really
that
like
is,
that
but
one.
That's a good one.
I like the elephant in the room because your eye.
Yeah, my Argy eye came out.
The upside down episode's quite good.
The upside down one is great.
Yeah, so we got ideas.
We can't say them.
There are countless gimmick episodes.
This is the JARCAST. You know, this will be memorable.
Darkest episode yet, dude.
Yeah, we decided to take Jar a little bit darker. You know,
this is the Nolan.
This is the
Jar.
Nolan Jar version.
Public Nuisance 89 says, "Dear Alex, Jamie, and Pissadic, next Monday when the next JARCast goes up, me and my brother will be on a 9-hour car ride back home from a vacation we'll be taking. Don't worry, we're only going to our cabin where there are very few other people."
That must be America then.
I've tried a handful of times to get my brother to listen to the JARCast, but to no avail. I've never been able to make him listen to more than about 20 minutes of any JARCast, so I don't think he's ever had the full experience of a proper episode. I'm sure I could get him to enjoy the podcast, as many of the topics, specifically video game related topics, and the endless talk of shit and farts would probably make him laugh for hours. Now he's going to be in the car with me for 9 hours, so I have a golden opportunity to force him to listen to my favourite podcast. My question that I have for you then is this. What in your opinion would be some good episodes to expose my brother to in order to indoctrinate him into the cult of Jar? I was thinking of showing him Bish and Chips, Mario Bros. Invade, Yeah Ooh Yeah, and if I think he's ready, the normal episode. I would love to know what you lovely mingers think. If you had one episode to convince someone to listen to you, what episode would it be? I look forward to potentially hearing your answers. Me and my brother will be listening to this episode together as it premieres on Monday, so I hope that my brother is surprised when, if you guys read this question. You hear that, Will? Your brother Jack is on the motherfucking JARCast, bitch. I fucked that.
I just want to say that all the titles to that don't bring back any memories because I have no clue.
I'd say that's Jar's biggest flaw.
Yeah, well, no, it's not even a flaw.
I'm having a leg cramp.
Which part?
My calf.
Oh God, no! I had one. I had one in the fight.
That's fucked up, dude. Oh, that's better.
No, is that the?
That is the cure. That solves it. It's gone. It's done.
No, awesome. I'm pretty sure that's what you showed me ages, like in like year 7 or something. You're just like, if you got a cramp here, like stretch out your like foot, and it's just like it changed my life.
It's impossible to do yourself. Anyway, yeah.
That's
ooh yeah.
Isn't that the Harambe episode?
No, yeah was way after. It was when we.
No, was the Mr. Bean 3-hour episode where it was showing Mr. Bean with with the GIF repeating.
No, that was when I was. I thought that was.
I can't keep it straight.
That was me saying started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah,
started from the bottom. Now the whole team fucking here.
Best episode.
No, was when we used to do that thing where we walked on set with the fake
big laughing
and James like imitating a crowd went ooh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then it became like a weird chant for us. So I would definitely recommend that.
Got that
episode.
anti-Zula vibes, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. James loves Anti-Zulu.
I would honestly say, just go on the playlist and just see what thumbnails are funny.
Yeah. Yeah, the one with the hippo chasing.
It's just
the
a complete
naked
gamble. Like
Yeah, that got moved, didn't it?
guy. Did it?
oh yeah, the naked hippo one. Yeah, that's,
Oh,
that's
what?
not, yeah, that's against Paulus Pride.
I like the one with the monkey. With
Oh
the,
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's an
He's
old
got
one.
like a mustache.
I actually saw a thumbnail with Jar, but I saw it, but I never clicked it was Jar because I thought it was a meme compilation.
What was it? Which one? What was the thumbnail?
It's like a
That's so
PS5
true.
meme. It was like, if she doesn't buy me a PS5, I'm gonna play with her feelings.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
I thought that was just a meme compilation.
that was
man.
wasn't that a Corncast?
Yeah, I like.
That was when the PS5 was like revealed.
I looked at it and I just thought it was a. Then I looked at it and I was like, that's a Jar. What the fuck is that thumbnail? Like, Christ.
No, we got to do that video where we go through like the thumbnails of Jar, because there's so many secrets hidden in those thumbnails.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a part.
People
It's a
never
part.
realise.
It's a whole nother level of like the in humor. It's just like the thumbnails and the names.
Ododaz has a question for us. You talked about how the UK handled COVID-19, but how about your opinions on the US with COVID? Recently, Trump has stated 99% of cases are harmless, except data indicates 20% of cases need hospitalization. Stated he wants to withdraw funding from WHO, which will mean a vaccine will take longer, with the excuse being that WHO and China are covering up the origins of the virus, even though the US gave $893 million to China, and they gave the equivalent of $89 million in 2009. Blah, 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 you know, whatever. Donald Trump.
Don't believe political leaders.
Actually, extra opinions on anti-mask people, not just in the US, the other people who break the rules from the government, people who actively try to get infected by COVID-19, like the COVID parties, or the people who think that it's all a conspiracy and that it's just not real.
No, because we had the anti-mask protests here in London. I'm pretty sure we did as well.
I can't. There've been so many protests, I can't keep up.
It was recently. We have those like hyper American like freedom shit here, and it's kind of, you know, we've had cases of people dying because people are spitting on them. Like,
how many people do you actually believe? How many people exist that genuinely believe that it's not real? That it's like it's all a conspiracy?
a considerable amount.
I think that would be quite a minority. I think
You would
more
hope
people
so, right?
would believe that it's something that was created to control
Not
people.
that just the whole thing is faked or whatever.
Yeah, but more that it was a created virus made by the Illuminati
Yeah.
to control people and eliminate cash.
Well, from our perspective as Brits, the way the US has been handling it is the way we've viewed it has kind of been that it's like been kind of a mess, and that there's been this conflict with the hyper like libertarian types that feel like it's impeding their rights or whatever to behave in a sensible way during the virus. So I don't know. It's really hard to get a good read on like what the actual reality is, because just the information is out there, and like I'm sure some states are doing much better than others. Like Florida is the main one that's highlighted as just the complete clusterfuck.
I've heard some weird stuff about people having to sign death waivers for their kids in school because they're putting them back and they're like, well, they could die.
I mean, it's definitely not been handled well.
No.
No, but it's
but
hard
it's-
to say how, because our only like perspective into it, or at least my perspective, is through like Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, social
And
media basically.
That stuff
Very
is so
biased.
inflammatory that you only hear the extremes.
Mhm.
So what the day-to-day living is like, I don't truly know.
Yeah, I guess now, as of today, right, it's like law that in the UK you have to wear a mask if you're going into a shop.
I
or-
went to shops just a few hours ago and
Yeah.
people were all
Yeah, I went to the
biting at
supermarket and everyone was wearing a mask, and I
Yeah,
had to say
that-
I felt way more like secure.
But I
about the
mean,
whole
why
thing.
open pubs like a month ago
And then
Oh,
where,
yeah,
where
it makes
people
no
can't
sense
wear
the way they've done
masks?
it.
Like, you can't wear a mask in a pub because how are you going to drink?
Well, yeah,
every
like
5
how
seconds?
restaurants were like open. Like, are they like, what is it now? Do you have to wear a mask to go into?
Because how can you? So
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Why is it fine to do that in a restaurant or a pub or wherever? But then if you go into Tesco, it's different. But up until today, you didn't have to wear a mask. Like, this government really has not given a shit. And they've only done stuff when people are like, wait a minute, why aren't you doing this?
It's like too late. It's like weeks too late.
Yeah.
I would say I can't judge America because we've been as equally as bad.
I don't think we've been equally as bad.
But we've got to consider America's got a massive population, so it's going to be different. But we haven't been.
No,
good.
but they've also got way more land. Their population is spread across.
But we've been the worst in Europe, and we're probably the third worst in the world if we consider things. We've been terrible, and.
Yeah, we're lucky that we live in a part of the UK that's so kind of rural that we haven't been hit in the same way.
It's literally the least bad part of the UK.
Well, Wiltshire's the...
Yes, it's the best part of the country to be in.
So yeah, we've been lucky in that regard.
We have. I've also heard from inside people in like Sainsbury's and stuff, if you don't wear a mask, it doesn't matter. They can't do anything. So you can walk in there without a mask and they won't stop you.
Well, it's become a bit of a like weird battle now because some of the supermarkets are like, we're not going to force you to wear a mask, and some others are not going to let you in unless you are wearing one. So it's going to be like the people who believe in freedom are going to go for the ones where you don't have to wear one.
It's strange, and it's I disagree with what our government's done. I think they've been silly. They could do better.
Yeah, they were just like too scared to take a stance early on.
Yeah.
Because I was talking to someone today who for work has to travel to like Spain and Portugal, and he was saying there you have to have like hand gel on your person at all times.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's an €800 fine if you're caught without a mask on outside your home and hand gel.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
Like,
I don't know how
I
feel about that.
You truly need to follow the rules and like just basically protect everyone else.
And it's like early on, like in Portugal, if you left your house and you didn't have a completely valid reason, they would escort you home. You couldn't leave. Like they've done it so well.
Is Portugal all right now? Then are they coming out of lockdown?
No, they've some like businesses there and whatnot have going back to working from home due to like suspicion of cases. So
I mean, it just makes sense to wear a mask if you're.
And Spain is going into lockdown Mark 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? God, it's just. Do you genuinely think that this is just the new norm now? Like, how can we go back from this now?
Well, I mean, people would have said that after World War 1 and 2. Like,
how long is it going to last, though? Like,
it's going to last.
I think it's going to be like kind of a mainstay thing. It makes me think of like 9/11, where it's like you will never experience the same thing in the same way again. You're never going to be on a plane and have the like open cockpit thing and just see the pilots ever again after 9/11. It's going to be a similar thing where maybe we're just not going to be able to go back to the way it was.
There's going to be permanent change, especially in restaurants with just like barriers and like, you know, just more kind of separation.
Well, like, or thinking about just like trolleys and supermarkets and baskets and stuff, the way they're like wiped down and clean now. Are they going to just stop doing that at a certain point? Or are we going to be like switched on now that this bacteria thing and that we got to be more cautious about the way we're kind of shoving all these sardines, these warm sardines in a can and spreading bacteria? Do you not think
the way people have acted since like numbers have been going down, the second a vaccine comes out, I could see people just being like, well, it's over. That's that phase done.
But if
I don't know if it will affect the world.
Well, what do you think is going to start to happen if this vaccine comes out? Are we going to have the case where people like start wearing badges that say like, "Hey, I'm vaccinated. I don't even need to wear a mask. I'm fine." It's such a crazy world we live in. We
can't even like imagine what that'll be like, because nothing in the world will be. The history of humanity won't see something like that. There's never happened where millions of people have to be vaccinated like that. It's never happened.
Well, I don't know just logistically how that works.
It can't.
How they're going to spread it and have like who do you choose who gets the vaccination first?
People that pay for it.
Really? You think it's going to be like that? Where it's
Yeah.
just whoever has
Yeah.
the biggest
It
wallet?
it will be quite literally the richest people to the poorest. They get it first.
Surely the
last.
priority should be those working with the ill people.
Well, yeah, I'd imagine NHS,
NHS workers,
staff, all people that are considered
A risk.
At high risk, yeah.
not just high risk but essential workers. I assume they will
Right,
get like
yeah,
a
yeah.
free pass.
You'd
to-
hope so, yeah.
But I mean, apparently the vaccine is coming along.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's
wasn't
looking
it?
really
Wasn't
promising.
it Oxford Union?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we've done
they
proper
said-
tests now.
They said back in like April that they suspect in June, July, they're going to have something significant to release
Oh,
in terms of a vaccine. And I mean, the trials are going down. And I think it would be great for this country if we were the ones that made
yeah,
the
it would be.
vaccine.
It would be a good
Yeah.
little
It
boost
would.
if it came from.
But I don't know if that would be the case. And it's weird that China hasn't already. You'd think.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know what
We
their
don't
scientists
know
are
what's
up to.
going on over there, and we can't say. But like the way Donald Trump's doing it, and like withdraw, like criticism of who and all that, it's just silly politicians. You know, what can you say? It's like the same with Brazil, which is like America but 10 times worse. So it's like,
Yeah, it's hard to know how different countries are dealing with it unless you're in it.
unless you
Like, we can talk about how the
Yeah,
UK's
yeah,
dealing
yeah.
with it because we're dealing with
yeah,
it
that's
on
what
a
I mean.
day-to-day basis.
I can only talk about America from
Yeah.
Twitter's perspective.
I can only see from Brazil from the fact that the president denied it exists and now he's got it. Like, Christ.
Proof Mean 892 says, question for Alex. You talked about your love for Ori quite a lot, but I was wondering if you've played Hollowknight. If you haven't, are you interested in it? If you've played, are you excited about the sequel Silk Song? And what are your favourite parts about the game? My personal favourite is the atmosphere and the lore of the world. I haven't played it, but I know it's supposed to be a good game, and Jim has played it a fair amount. So
Yeah,
I
I've
don't know if
played
you've
like
got
20
anything to
hours,
say.
I think.
How long, sorry?
20 hours, I would
Okay.
assume. Yeah, it's really good. It's not as good as Dark Souls.
More sort of like a
I
2D
don't-
Metroidvania, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing for you, to be honest. It requires too much time.
Yeah, that's the main thing that's put me off it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like about the Ori thing. Is like you can speedrun it and finish
Yeah,
it in
yeah,
like
yeah.
a couple hours.
But I mean, it just feels so good. All the feedback is so satisfying.
Yeah.
The main thing that annoys me about the game is, like Ori, and Mario and shit, it's got a thing where if you just touch an enemy, you take damage.
Right.
And for a Souls sort of game, it can be frustrating.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just a learning curve. It
It's-
is a very,
it's-
very good game.
It's designed like an old school game, and that's why I'll never play it.
It is and it isn't.
No, by that touching enemies, that's an old school game thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the
But I mean, you're
very-
not really into platformers anyway, are you?
I could never play. It's like I've said before. Like there's a point when older games, no matter what, will always feel shit. The game's not shit, but it's just like I can't jump between like a modern game and that because it's just like too much.
Hollow-Knight feels like a modern game though.
Yeah. But I know that that's like a good game. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
But again, I'd never say it would be a game you would like.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
niche. It's a niche game,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
but a very good.
I just
niche
heard
game.
it gets really hard at a certain point.
yeah. I mean, I had to start the game 3 different times
Mm-hmm.
until it finally like.
Yeah, I've done that with games like XCOM before.
Yeah,
We
No,
just
but
got to figure out.
with Hollow Knight, it was. I don't know. The third time I played it, I was just like, I found it way easier, and I guess I was just in a more patient mood,
Yeah.
But
more
how?
patient mindset.
What would you say was the time difference between like first and third of your playthroughs? Was it like
Oh,
a year?
massive.
Yeah, that's probably why then, because you've probably played a lot more games and like matured as a person. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
no, I would say like if you played a game like 4 years ago which you never got on your own, play it now and you'll probably smash it instantly because it's just you do with games.
But with Hollow Knight, I mean, I'd recommend buying it even if you're not going to finish it, because for the price tag, you get bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Dude, like there is so much game there for. It's like I got it for like 10 quid
On Switch, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it on
perfect
Switch.
place for it. Kylo Who says, if there is a second wave of COVID in December, will the Corncast come back? I mean, yeah, if we're put in
put into
lockdown
lockdown.
again, then
yeah, we
Yeah,
yes.
of course. Even before, if we know it's coming, we'll put our safety before anything, and we'll because I know I'm still working from home, and there's no plans at the moment for me to go back to work, so like it's not changing for me. And be realistic, you got to cancel till like April next year at the least, because if there's a second spike, we're going to be a long time stuck in home again. So you're in for the long haul, and you got no matter what, you got to kind of expect that and be ready.
Let's do 2 more then, I reckon.
2 more.
Adamed the Maroon says, what does it feel like to have a small niche from around the world that are interested in what you have to say every week? Plus, how does it feel to have people look up to you as inspirations and role models? Don't.
Yeah.
No, we've talked about.
I've always found that weird. I don't like this idea of like putting content creators on a pedestal.
No.
No, I get that. I get that for most content creators because they're not real people.
Well, they are real people, and real people are flawed, and that's why.
But what they show
what they
online
are.
is not them.
Oh, yeah.
The person I am when that camera is on is different to who I am.
Yeah.
In reality.
Yeah.
Totally different.
There's some truth in there, but you have to understand that
It's
the way
you're
I
trying to be
behave
entertaining
and-
when you're
and
making
act.
content.
It isn't how I behave and act.
Of course
in
not.
person.
No. Yeah, and I think some people miss that, and they think that that's your entire being is just like your videos online.
yeah, which is
fair because like that's all they're seeing of you. But you have to understand there's more to a person that they're choosing to show. Like bits and pieces.
Yeah,
and they're carefully editing it.
We're all long-term friends, so like the things we do is because of that. Like nobody can replicate that like to us when we don't know them. We have that dynamic that it is what it is. But
but the second that camera goes off, the way we talk to each other and behave is different.
yes,
Not that everything we're saying is a lie.
no, we
It's
talk about
just-
the same things. We still have that the opinions are still there. We're still those people, but it's just like it's a different.
We're
situation.
showing an element of ourselves instead of just being ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you can truly understand it is if you get a camera and a mic and then you start recording yourself. Then you'll understand what it's like to make the difference between making content and like watching it. There is a definite like thing you have to. I like the size of Jar. I've always said that. My long-term goal was always 100,000 subs. That was like, if we can get Jar to that, then that's
that would be like incredible. Actually,
yeah, and we're like cringily close to that at this point. And like the with the cast and the As Good As They Say videos and stuff, I feel like it's a good. We've figured out kind of the best way.
It's not like we're trying to push for like content or something. It's just like it just feels natural. It feels right.
Brain Death Scene says, and we're going to end on this. Jamie and James get 30 seconds each to try and make Alex laugh. Nothing is off the table. Come on then.
No,
I'm going to start counting.
Wait. No, wait. Let me get the timer.
No, I can count it. It's fine.
I can't do this. I can't do that.
All you got to do is make me laugh. It's not hard.
No,
I
it
laugh at
is.
Fucking,
I can't do that, Alex.
Dumb shit.
I can't do that. I don't know how to make
It's so much harder to make someone laugh when it's like make someone laugh,
Yeah, it's like you laugh at me naturally because I do dumb shit like set my hair on fire.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Have you started the timer, or am I supposed to be timing it right now?
No, I was just stalling.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm going to start in the timer now.
Okay, I'm pulling my pants down then, Alex.
That's just giving me a bony.
Whoa, it's like a 6-pack, but look at that. Whoa. Look, it's 1, 2, 3.
Can I get a fourth one?
It looks like a beetle.
I laughed.
It's over comp.
I laughed. I did it. James did it. He managed it.
Yeah, mate. Well, Christ. Everyone can do that. Can you do that?
Do what?
Get like mini rolls.
I don't think I could get that many rolls.
Do it.
No.
But there's like, if I tense, it's rock solid. Because I kind of do workouts there, so it's like, I've just got rolls for days.
I'll take your word.
Not do it on your neck as well. I can get like 6.
No. Well, that is a lot of rolls.
I've just got flabby fucking skin.
Yeah, you got loose skin like a dog.
It's because I'm tall.
You know, there's a timer right there we could have used.
No, listen.
Oh yeah.
It's because I'm tall. My body weight's never been the size of my skin, so I've just got fucking rolls of skin that I need to grow into still. It's like the fucking rolls boy.
I don't know if that's how it works.
No, it's not. I'm just being fucking funny.
Which way though? You managed it.
He didn't though. He
effortless.
didn't do anything.
No,
he
it
just
was
laughed
it was
at
a
me.
combo effort. It was just whoever could do it, you know. And James managed it, just pulling his shirt up and playing with his body.
I do that all the fucking time.
On that though, that's episode, whatever episode this is.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. We're done. Go.